in Luke begins to say, the disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect, or those that become mature. When you become mature, you shall be what? You shall be what? As your master. And many of us are really having a real struggle being as Jesus. Maybe because some of us have not become perfect or come into a level of maturity as a true disciple. Amen. And therefore, we begin to understand, in order for us to walk into the fullness of God, when you are being mentored, you're going to have to follow your mentor, follow your leader, in order to get the spirit of your leader, which we're going to go more in depth in these series of meetings, in order for you to have the kind of success and glory and wealth. Amen. I believe the abundant life is connected with who you follow. And if your mentor is not successful, if your mentor is not prosperous, how can they lead you where they've never been? Touch your neighbor and say, watch who feeds you. Next slide. Okay, mentorship brings, what's number one there? Proper development. Proper development is necessary in the forming of any individual in a lifestyle that's going to bring glory to the kingdom. Amen. So mentorship brings proper development. Amen. Mentorship also brings what? Do you not know that if you are not properly aligned on the inside, you will not make correct steps on the outside? A matter of fact, your inside world is what determines your outer world. Based on how developed you are on the outside determines what you really walk in, or how developed you are rather on the inside determines what you walk in on the outside. Now you're beginning to see why meditation is so important. You are to meditate how long? You're to meditate how long? You're to meditate how long? Can I also tell you that sleep can be another form of meditation? Because whatever is happening on the inside of you comes out in your dreams. Like last night I was dreaming. I was dealing with some people in the dream. But in the dream, I was telling them, somehow food ended up in my dream. And I was telling them in the dream, I am on the fast. I was dealing with that and dealing with some other things and individuals. Amen. In that subconscious state. Can I tell you that your subconscious state of mind determines the blessing that is yours once you can get it to receive it. But the problem is dumping it from the conscious into the subconscious. Amen. So you may say, well, what does this have to do with mentorship? Sometimes things that we've passed through in life, one thing I've understood is that your mentor oftentimes will take you down the road of that which you don't want to deal with. Your mentor may remind you of the father that you hated or the mother you didn't get along with. Your mentor will be an individual that God will assign to you to work on that part of you, to get that negativity out of you, to bring you forth into perfection. That's why in the care group system here, we don't change people when they don't get along with each other. We say, work through it. This is your lot and course in life. My care group leader don't call me. Well, why don't you try calling them? And remember that how you respond, remember that your day is up next. You don't know when we may say to you, you are now a care group leader. All those prophets you've given a hard time to, when they were giving you the word of the Lord, you were playing dumb. Your day is coming. Some of you are going to be appointed tonight to be in the next arena of prophets. You will have some hard cases. Every hard time you gave to someone else, you will reap it, because God is not mocked. The Bible says God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man what? That shall he also what? Can I also say to you this, without you throwing bricks out of your bag at me, that even reaping, I believe, continues on after you leave this life. Because God is not mocked. Now, we won't say tonight how you may reap it, but you will reap what you sow. Else, heaven and earth, amen, will go into catastrophe, because he says if one jot or tittle of my word fail, heaven and earth will pass away. Now, I want you to look your neighbor in the eye and tell them, says, I am praying that you reap everything that you sowed. Now, some of you are sad about that, but I'm happy because I know what I've sowed. Have you sowed good into someone's life today? Have you multiplied someone? Have you increased someone? Amen. Have you helped develop someone? Then you should be rejoicing that that individual is praying in alignment with God's will and that you can get an agreement with that. But if you done dirt to folks all your life, amen, and you walked around with attitudes, baby, your payday is around the corner. You are going to what? Reap. All right. Mentorship not only brings proper development, proper alignment, but it brings proper what? And your attitude that determines what? Can I say to you that the way you are mentally depends on what level you travel? Your attitude determines what class of service you are in the air. Because the serpent sinned, the serpent altitude was lower. The man at the gate called beautiful because he had the wrong attitude. He stayed in the position of where they laid him. Can I say to you that your attitude, once it has been transformed, it determines how high up you go in him. A matter of fact, meditation and prayer, and I'll say it, meditation and prayer because they're one and the same. A lot of our prayers are going to have to now come to the point of silence. Because some of you have been doing too much talking and you've been saying the wrong thing. You've prayed, but you haven't gotten results. Can I also say to you that prayer is not a one-way conversation? A matter of fact, God may not be interested in how many words you are saying per hour, as much as he is looking for your thoughts and your feelings. Mentorship also brings what? Discipleship. Now, you know, this is a word that a lot of people are afraid of, discipleship. A lot of people really don't want to be disciples because they know what that means. See, that means that goes beyond just being a Christian or being a believer. See, a disciple stretches you the extra mile of the way. Amen. The disciple takes you to that level of commitment where now your life is no longer your own. Touch your neighbor and say, are you ready to be discipled? Okay, mentorship brings what else? Everyone read. Impartation and change with the laying on of hands. Let's go to the next screen. Okay, now let me say something about change in the laying on of hands. When we looked when Moses, before Moses departed, he laid his hands on Joshua, the son of Nun.